Leon Goretzka to West Ham. Ambitious, but could it actually happen? Elsewhere, we're talking Riyad Mahrez to Saudi Arabia. Bid has been put in. João Palhinha. Could he be leaving Fulham this summer? There's a fair amount of interest, but could it actually happen? Florian Balogun of Arsenal, highly rated youngster. Could he be leaving the Gunners this summer? Andre Onana, done and dusted, it seems. Only pending a medical are we a step away from officially confirming that signing at Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo speaks out about the Saudi League and makes it all about him yet again. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang swapping Chelsea for Marseille, it seems. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, it's another all-new news live stream we've got for you today, talking some of the biggest headlines from the world of football. As always with these live streams, I would like it if you all hit the like button on the video, on the live stream. Do get those likes up. Would love that from you all. It would be very much appreciated, as would any new subscribers that we get during these streams, or obviously during the rerun of this live stream. Of course, anything of that nature will be greatly appreciated, so do hit those buttons and thank you very much for that. And also do get involved in the chat throughout. Would love to hear from you all on anything that I'm talking about, on anything that you want to talk about. Anything of that nature would be great. It'd be great to hear from you all in terms of those aspects. So do get involved in the chat as well. Anything that I'm talking about, anything that you guys want to talk about, I'm sure your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, questions, whatever you want to call it, will make for great and interesting reading. But without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's get on with the live stream. Let's get on with the all new news chat that we're going to bring to you today. And we're going to start off with the news that broke yesterday in regards to Leon Goretzka. Now, this one was very intriguing. Sky in Germany were reporting that Leon Goretzka could be leaving Bayern Munich this season, and he could be going for as little as 40 million euros. The report stated that between 40 million euros and 50 million euros was roughly around about the figure that, of course, Bayern were looking to maybe sell the midfielder for, maybe exploring their options a little bit. And maybe, as I said, with the whole Sadio Mane transfer not too long ago, maybe it is to try and raise the funds to sign one Harry Kane. That could potentially be a possibility there. West Ham fits the bill in some respects, because we know that obviously they've got a lot of money at their disposal now that obviously they've sold Declan Rice, and that deal has gone over the line and has been done, dusted, and made official. So we know that they've got a lot of money to spend, but could they be spending around about half of that money on Leon Goretzka? Now, this move seems to be strange to me. Goretzka seems a quality midfielder. I'm not having a go at West Ham here and saying that obviously what are they doing going after quality midfielders. If this is true and this is legitimate, this seems to be a very ambitious and very intriguing statement made by West Ham if they are to obviously pursue this player any further. And it could be a very intriguing signing if this is to happen. But for me, this would state there may be something wrong with Bayern. Maybe something wrong with a player. A player with this amount of experience, a player with this wealth of winning trophies, this serial winner mentality, has won everything there is to offer at Bayern Munich over the course of his career there, is going to be leaving for as little as maybe 40 million to 50 million euros. Does that just basically mean he's seeking a new challenge? Does he want to leave, which is why the price is so low? If this was a player in England that wanted to leave, we've just seen Mason Mount, for example, leave for about 60-odd million. We've seen Kai Havertz leave for 65 million. Leon Goretzka, I would say, is better than both of those in certain aspects, in certain ways. And yet he's going to be going for about 2/3 of the price that they originally went for. Is there something I'm missing here? Am I overrating him a little bit? Or is this just Bayern's way of, like I say, trying to sell a couple of players that they have assets on the cheap to bring in the funds to sign a Harry Kane, which is, of course, what they wanted all summer. They want a striker. Harry Kane fits the bill, is the top of their shopping list, so to speak. Is this just a way of bringing in the funds for that massive, monumental signing? And it would be a monumental signing at that if it was to happen, to bring in. On the flip side of that, going to West Ham, is he going to be okay with that? Obviously, he's going to be trading Bayern Munich for West Ham. He's going to be trading Champions League football for Europa League football this season, which is something that we've seen some players do across their career. But is he going to be okay with going to West Ham? Is he going to take to the Premier League well? Is he going to adapt to a new culture and a new league? Is he going to want to play under David Moyes at West Ham? And is he going to want to obviously change that kind of lifestyle? That remains on him. And elsewhere, I've got to ask, why is no one else jumping on this? This could be a move that could probably benefit the vast majority of Premier League teams in the Premier League, or even across Europe, to say like your likes of your Barcelonas and your maybe even your Real Madrids to a certain extent. Why is no one else jumping on this? Why is Liverpool, for example, not jumping on this? Why are they not? Like, Liverpool are after midfielders. They're about to sell Jordan Henderson. They're about to sell Fabinho for what would essentially be 30 to 35 million pounds, not euros, pounds. That seems to be kind of in the price range of an FSG model, of an FSG type of model player, of Liverpool's sort of model and what they've based themselves off all this time. I've got to question why that is the case. Sorry, I was just reading something there. I've got to question why that is the case. I've got to question why Man United are not all over this. I know they're rumored to be being interested, but why are they not all over this? We know that they're after a midfielder as well. We know that they want someone else to come in as well as Mason Mount in that midfield to bolster and beef up that midfield, especially with Champions League football on the horizon for them this season. Why are they not all over this? Why are Arsenal not considering this deal? I know it's Tottenham, but even so, maybe Tottenham could look at this deal as a potential big statement signing for them. Newcastle, maybe. You know, there are a few teams out there that I think Goretzka could definitely benefit and can definitely strengthen in that midfield area. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why are these kinds of teams not all over this type of signing? And I'm very, I guess the word is confused. I guess I'm very confused as to why this is. I'm very confused as to why this is. Am I overrating him? Is it just that these teams are looking elsewhere? They're looking for other terms of players that are going to be there for more of a long-term basis? What am I missing here that may or may not see the bigger picture in terms of Leon Goretzka? Because whilst I think it would be a fantastic signing for West Ham, and I think it would be a real good statement signing, a statement of intent and a statement of ambition by West Ham, I can't help but think that there's something being either overlooked by West Ham or there's something being underlooked, if that is even a word, or underrated by some of the other bigger teams in the Premier League. So we'll wait and see, obviously, if there is any truth and any legitimacy and any legs to this story. But it could be a very intriguing one that Leon Goretzka might be trading Munich for London in the form of West Ham United going forward. So we're waiting to see if that is to be the case there. Next story, we're going to be talking about João Palhinha. Now, he's another one that West Ham have been linked with. Again, is it more convenience? Because obviously they know that West Ham are going to be after a midfielder, and obviously João Palhinha fits the bill. Obviously, a more defensive midfielder, seemingly a like-for-like replacement for Declan Rice. Is that just a coincidence there? Remains to be seen. So again, there might not be any truth to the Goretzka thing, but at the same time, it does fit the bill. You know, West Ham are going to be linked with a lot of midfielders from here on out because of obviously the sort of it fits the caliber of player they need. They need a midfielder. It fits that specification. They're going to be linked with, therefore, a lot of midfielders to try and replace Declan Rice, who was obviously sold this summer. But allegedly, they face competition for this one. Allegedly, they face competition for Palhinha with other players that may be involved. But West Ham have put in a bid for the midfielder, and allegedly Fulham have rejected a 40 million bid from the Hammers for João Palhinha. So as well as maybe monitoring the situation with Goretzka, they also seemingly are pursuing João Palhinha. Now, we've talked about João Palhinha a little bit, only a brief moment in a previous live stream. I don't remember which one it was, but we talked about it briefly. The overall consensus then was that Fulham were not looking to sell and therefore put the price tag at a very, very high price of £90 million, it seems. What we know from this is that obviously it makes sense. He's been a brilliant signing for Fulham this past campaign. He's been a really big part of their machine of why they finished mid-table. A fantastic acquisition in that midfield, mixture of being direct and being technical, as well as being very physical and also covering a lot of ground as well. So it's all obvious, I guess is the right word, as to why West Ham would want to sign this player as a replacement for Declan Rice. Makes a lot of sense. Obviously, they don't want to sell him, which is why they put the price tag high. And not only that as well, but once you realise that a team has got a lot of money now at their disposal because they've just sold one of their prized assets, of course, you're going to try and exploit every penny that they have because you know that they have the money to do so. Palhinha could be a saga that rumbles on throughout the entirety of the summer. West Ham would be forced to pay a lot of money, in my opinion, to try and prize him away from Fulham. Big part player for Fulham this past campaign and everything. I'm just very intrigued to see one way or another where this saga goes because obviously, like I say, he's a big player for Fulham, but he fits the bill of a Declan Rice replacement. And again, I've got to be honest. I know he's going to cost a lot of money. And I know that he's only had 1 year in the Premier League. But I have to question, why aren't other teams involved with Palhinha? You know, I know it's probably early days yet and Fabinho hasn't exactly gone. But again, it could fit the bill for Liverpool. It could be a very good like-for-like replacement for Liverpool in certain aspects. You know, Chelsea in need of midfielders and adding depth to their squad. Chelsea maybe going after him. I know that they've got all their eggs seemingly in the basket of Caicedo. And don't get me wrong, phenomenal signing that will be, and especially in a double pivot with Enzo Fernandez. I've said time and time again, will be an absolute incredible addition that will complement and benefit Fernandez as much as the whole entire squad. But again, if you're looking to beef up your options, maybe Chelsea's the way to go. It just seems that maybe certain teams are missing a couple of tricks here with these kinds of players. Goretzka, I think, like I said, would benefit any midfield in the Premier League, or on the vast majority of midfields in the Premier League, whether it be Manchester United, whether it be Liverpool, Chelsea. I think he would be an excellent addition in that midfield. But we'll have to wait and see on these sagas and these stories whether they continue or not, whether they continue to go down the line, and maybe they continue to heat up, and maybe there is going to be interest from other teams that's going to make it interesting in a sort of bidding war fashion. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But João Palhinha is definitely one to look out for going forward this summer. Moving on, we're going to just quickly touch upon Onana. I know I said yesterday that I wouldn't talk about it anymore until the deal was agreed, and then the deal is agreed, and now I'm going to just talk about it when it's official confirmation. According to The Athletic, Manchester United have agreed a €51 million fee plus €4 million in add-ons with Inter Milan for the signing of Andre Onana. They seem to be done and dusted now. Everything seems to be moving swiftly towards, obviously, just pending a medical before official announcement and everything along those lines. So we're waiting and seeing on that one. But the fee in pounds sterling seems to be reaching just under 44 million. So a quality signing from Manchester United's point of view. From my point of view, if I am to be neutral and completely honest about this, Onana is a game changer. He would change Manchester United from defensively to going forward as well in terms of that transition, as well as being a great shot stopper, and obviously helps that transition by being a great goalkeeper to be with the ball at his feet. He's confident. I said yesterday that there may be a few risks every now and again, and he likes playing with a bit of fire. But you're going to get that with every goalkeeper, and there are going to be mistakes with every goalkeeper. Even the best goalkeeper in the world, who I still believe is Alisson Becker, obviously has made a couple of mistakes for Liverpool in the past, and obviously has sometimes been left with a bit of egg on his face and a bit of embarrassment, as something that he's tried to do hasn't quite worked. The pass hasn't gone well. Maybe a turn in the box hasn't quite gone to plan, and he's been left quite embarrassed that the ball has ended up in the back of his own net. So there are going to be a couple of mistakes with Onana, but there is going to be like that with every goalkeeper, especially when you play the risky kind of football he does. But in terms of the overall bigger picture and the overall play of Erik ten Hag's side, this is a big game changer and a big step forward to how Erik ten Hag wants to play, with him wanting to play the ball out from the back. A great shot stopper, but like I say, brilliant with the ball at his feet, and he's going to change Manchester United in that aspect. So Onana deal is done and dusted, it seems. We just wait on official confirmation of the medical being a success, if that is to be the case, and then obviously the official announcement and official signing. Fantastic from their point of view. And yeah, it will be completed over the next 48 hours or so, it seems. So it seems that he's going to be flying to Manchester tonight at some stage later today, and then obviously the medical will take place, the tying up of all the loose ends will take place, and the official announcement then will be made. Moving on to let's go to Florian Balogun, the Arsenal youngster who had been turning a lot of heads in the Arsenal academy with some great performances, highly rated, highly sort of. Maybe though he's on his way out. Maybe though he is on his way out of Arsenal. According to certain sources yesterday, Inter Milan have made a €40 million offer to sign Arsenal striker Florian Balogun. Inter Milan have offered Balogun a 5-year contract worth €3.5 million net per season. If this is true, it's going to be interesting to see what the reason is for Arsenal. Do they feel like he's maybe not as highly rated as what many people have stated, which is why they're getting rid of him early on? Does he just not fit in with Mikel Arteta's system? It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this guy, because Arsenal fans went on about him like he was going to be the next incarnation of Thierry Henry, or at least some did anyway. I'm just very much intrigued by this whole notion that he may be going to Aston Villa, Inter Milan, going forward. I'm very intrigued by this whole situation. Like I say, he seemed like he was on the trajectory to break into the Arsenal squad this season. I think he had a pretty successful loan spell. I don't remember where he went. I think it was somewhere in France, wasn't it? I think he had a pretty successful loan spell out there. And then he was going to be returning this season to maybe break into the Arsenal setup. And maybe that is the case. Maybe this is just into testing Arsenal's resolve on a player that they may see as being highly rated themselves and may be able to break into the first team this season. But we'll wait and see on that one. And I say this about Arsenal a few times this summer already. The striker position for me is not the most reliable. I think it's been a fantastic summer so far by Arsenal. Don't get me wrong. I think signing Jurrien Timber, quality signing. I think signing Declan Rice has been a perfect signing. Absolutely perfect. I think Kai Havertz, for not the money side of the Kai Havertz deal, I do not agree with that in the slightest, but maybe in terms of squad depth and rotation, maybe that's an okay signing when you put it together with everybody else. I think is an okay to good signing. I still think they need to find a right winger to challenge Bukayo Saka and maybe to come in for Saka whenever he needs a rest or whenever he's injured or whenever he's suspended or whatever the case may be, if obviously that does come to it. And I think obviously they need to improve their striker situation. For me, Gabriel Jesus, for as good as what he has been at City, and I think he'll only get better in this Arsenal side, can't really do it on his own. And Eddie Nketiah as a replacement is not, in my opinion, that good of a replacement. He had a bit of a purple patch this season when Jesus got injured, but then dropped off massively once Jesus was coming back from his injury. And then when he came back, he dropped off massively. I don't think he's that good or good enough to obviously fill those shoes. I think Jesus needs genuine competition in that role. And I'm not saying Balogun will be, because I admit I've not seen a lot of Balogun. I've seen a little bit here and there. I've heard a lot, though, about him, and I've read up a lot about him that says that he is, and then from the way that Arsenal fans speak about him, like I say, he seems to be a quality player in the making, a top-class player in the making, a player who is just only going to get better and better and is going to probably be a prolific and consistent goal scorer. So a lot of options open for Arsenal, options open for Balogun too, depending on what he thinks. Maybe he thinks he can't break into this Arsenal side, and maybe going to Inter Milan is a good move for him. Remember, we know that Inter Milan are after a striker. They wanted Romelu Lukaku back until obviously he started flirting and talking with Juventus. So we'll wait and see if this one has any legs. But yeah, one to look out for in terms of this one with Florent Balogun, a player for the future, definitely. But obviously one that could be on the move this summer. Hey, Balam, how you doing, bro? Hope you are good, my dude. Nice to see you coming along on this Tuesday morning. So hope you're doing well. Brazil today, can you do a samba dance for the viewers? I would, but I would also be arrested if that was to be the case, because no one wants to see that. I expect Balogun to leave because USA International, and he will get offers. Yeah, I know he switched allegiance, didn't he? He switched allegiance to the USA very recently, I think it was. So yeah, maybe so. Chelsea will sell Alba. He is old. Well, apparently he is going to be on the move this summer, and he's very close to fully agreeing that move, it seems. West Ham have the money because of the Rice money. West Ham owners, we got that Rice money. Alex Scott to West Ham makes sense in a way. Yeah, I would imagine that West Ham are going to be reinvesting that money across multiple players. Polinia, Goretzka could happen. Alex Scott seems to be a player that obviously is on a lot of teams list this season. So we'll wait and see it all on that one. Do you think West Ham will get the Qatari owners? They play in an Olympic Stadium in London. You know what? It's heading that way where every team is probably going to get Saudi state owners at some point or Qatari state owners at some point. So we'll wait and see. Larouci went to Sheffield on loan in the end from Manchester City, from Troy, Team Troy's. Again, City's academy is starting to produce some talent that a lot of teams are starting to take note of. So will be interesting if obviously he becomes like a Lavia type of player, whether or not obviously he goes on to have a good season and gets talked about and raved about a lot. And then, I with all due respect and honesty, Sheffield United, I don't really see them staying up this season. So, as much it might be harsh, maybe he might be like a head and shoulders above the rest type of figure, like what Lavia was for Southampton this season. So we'll wait and see if there is any legitimacy and truth to any of that. Where are we moving to next? Just have a look here. Just having a look. Shall we talk some? Let's talk a little bit about Harry Maguire. Allegedly, a bid went in yesterday from West Ham. West Ham looking to beef up their defense as well as their midfield, it seems. Allegedly, reports were that they are very much interested in Harry Maguire. We know this, and that I personally believe that if they were to get him, given the way that West Ham play, and it's completely different to Manchester United, but I personally think that might benefit Maguire. I think Maguire going to West Ham will be better for him than going anywhere else. The way that they obviously play a deep defensive line, he doesn't have to think too much about being on the ball all the time. He can just play his natural game, which is to head everything, which is to get rid of everything. He doesn't have to play out from the back too much. He just has to obviously just move the ball forward as quickly as possible. He just has to stay in one place and to obviously mark a zone rather than a player. I think that this could be a beneficial move for Maguire should it take off. But of course, it's not that simple. Maguire has stated he wants to fight for his place. And of course, he's going to come out and say that. There's no doubt about it. He's going to come out and say that he wants to fight for his place. He's not going to simply roll over and say, yeah, I'm going to go. I want to go. This is terrible. He obviously wants to fight because this is the best he's going to get. Like, he won the lottery when Man United came calling for him several years ago and they bought him for 80 million. He won the lottery then. He doesn't want to obviously give all that up. He seemed to reluctantly give up the captaincy after talking with Ten Hag, and then Ten Hag has seemingly asked him to leave, but he doesn't want to obviously leave. He wants to stay and fight for his place because, like I say, this is the best it's going to get for him. If he stays at Man United, it could harm his chances of maybe the Euros. I know that Gareth Southgate is a bit awkward with that kind of thing. And I know that he took Calvin Phillips to the World Cup this past, obviously last year, despite the fact he barely even kicked the ball for Manchester City. So, yeah, that could potentially be an issue there. But at the same time, I still think it'll be a good move for Maguire to go to West Ham. A fresh start for him, I think, will be good, but also playing in a team that would probably suit him more in terms of their playing style and the way that they set up, I think will be better for him in the long run. But we'll obviously wait and see how this goes. Allegedly, Newcastle are also interested, but I'm not 100% sure how that one would work, given how Newcastle would play with a bit of a higher line. They also like to play with the ball at their feet a lot. I don't understand how that would work for Newcastle, in all honesty. It adds depth, but that's about as much as it would do. I don't get why Newcastle would be necessarily involved. But for West Ham, I think it could be a good signing. I think it would benefit Maguire to obviously be in a team like that. and the way that they set up, I think, will also benefit and help Maguire to maybe rediscover the kind of form he showed at Leicester. So we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. Bayern don't need Kyle Walker. I don't understand this. Bayern need a striker in ASAP. If they can get him cheap, though, it's not going to necessarily be a bad thing, and especially if Pavard does leave, which is what allegedly Pavard wants to do. We talked about it a fair amount at the beginning of the transfer window that Benjamin Pavard might be seeking a challenge elsewhere, away from Bayern. So it's not a bad replacement at all from Bayern's point of view and from Thomas Tuchel's point of view. So, yeah, we'll wait and see if anything does materialise there. But I do understand what you're saying. A striker is definitely needed. And like I say, if they are to get rid of Sadio Mane, if they are to get rid of Leon Goretzka, and like I say, if Pavard is to leave as well, that would probably cover the funds that maybe, just maybe, might tempt Daniel Levy into making a big and monumental sale for one Harry Kane. So we'll wait and see on that one. Harry Maguire is wanted by West Ham. English player, helps the homegrown rota. Absolutely. That is another aspect to Harry Maguire that he would bring to that West Ham squad overall. If West Ham get the Qatari owners, the West Ham owners will be happy with the money offered. I'm sure they will. And I'm sure West Ham will be interested and intrigued by a very open and optimistic and maybe even ambitious future. Harry Maguire will want to stay for Euro Chase and plays in UCL, etc. Yep, there's the Champions League football rotation as well that could come into play there. 100% understand. Yes, Larouci at Sheffield, they don't have shirt sponsor yet. Same with one or two teams in the Premier League. I think that's the way it's going now more. And like I say, I think some kits are ruined by shirt sponsors. So, yeah. And especially because, like, certain sponsors are just dumb and not to be used anymore. I don't think that they were using gambling sponsors. And let's face it, that's a big kind of plus for football fans, as well as alcohol. But they then banned that one as well. So, no gambling, no alcohol. You're going to get, like, Disney sponsoring or Coca-Cola or something, I don't know, or just banks or something, I don't know. Shirt sponsors, it's weird to me. Shirt sponsors sometimes ruin really good kits. So that's just the way that it is sometimes. Talking about Riyad Mahrez up next. We touched upon Riyad Mahrez yesterday. Fabrizio Romano understands that Al Ali submitted first bid for Riyad Mahrez on Monday night, 18 million plus £5 million in add-ons. Proposal has been rejected by Manchester City. City asked for £30 million as correct fee to seal the deal. Al Ali increasingly confident to get this deal done. So it does seem like they may meet somewhere in the middle. Maybe it will be like 25 million plus 5 million in add-ons. City will get an absolute fantastic deal from this for a 33-year-old, I want to say. Riyad Mahrez, who's been there, done it all with Manchester City. He's got all the winners' medals you can think of, all the T-shirts, everything else along with that. And they're going to sell him for a very good price. Liverpool, again, I'll bring it back to my club, are going to be selling Fabinho for 40 million, and yet City might be selling Mahrez for 30 million. I think we can get more for a Fabinho, who's a bit younger. But obviously, that's just the way that Liverpool negotiate, apparently. Henderson's also going for, could be going for 20 million if that is to obviously take off and accelerate going forward. Again, player that's been there and done it all. Couldn't we just get a bit more money for our skipper? Apparently not. We'll wait and see how this one goes, but this one just seems to be moving at a quick pace. And obviously, like we said before, Pep Guardiola doesn't stand on ceremony. He doesn't stand around on sentimentality. Mahrez will probably be seeking a new challenge and maybe money to set him up for a post-retirement that he's edging ever closer to. And Guardiola will want to obviously refresh things and get things obviously rotated. And that is the way that obviously he sees things going. And so, yeah, it all makes sense in that kind of aspect. And Mahrez, I believe, will become the latest player to move to Saudi Arabia going forward. So we'll wait and see on that one. Moving on, we're going to talk some Cristiano Ronaldo because he was being interviewed yesterday and somehow managed to make the Saudi Arabian movement all about him. He basically said that he opened the gateway and that people are moving to Saudi Arabia because of him, essentially. Yes, nothing to do with the money, nothing to do with the money at all. It's all about Ronaldo. And I get it. As Ballum says here, he did start the trend. He did go over there first and foremost. But let's face it, if there wasn't money involved, and a lot of money at that, where players, and maybe in some cases you may see them as average players at that, are having their wages tripled, quadrupled, quintupled, whatever it may be, that would also be a massive factor, wouldn't it? So to me, it's not because of Ronaldo. He may have a small part of it, but for him to come out yesterday, I thought was one of the most like narcissistic, egotistical kind of quotes you could come out with. He said he wouldn't move back to Europe. He wants to stay in the Saudi league to help it grow. And I understand that one. That was more of a smart kind of quote and smart kind of thing to say, because it is going to grow and it is going to get better with the quality that they're going to produce. And yeah, again, it's about the location as well. Like, it's a very, very, the country over there, looks to, the culture may be a bit questionable, and the human rights stuff is completely questionable, but at the same time, that's just their culture. And the country itself, aesthetically, very nice over there, and that's why a lot of exactly warm weather and everything. So the country itself, in terms of the aesthetic side of things, is obviously very nice. And like some players do go over there and take holidays when they're in their sort of off days and off seasons. They do sort of go to these kinds of places in the Middle East and just go there for holidays and stuff like that. So it does sort of make sense that they would try and make that kind of place not just a holiday but a permanent location to obviously live out there, play their football, and obviously the big one is collect a very, 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 very wealthy paycheck for the next couple of years, and then they can move back to England. They can move back closer to home, closer to their family, or closer to wherever they come from, whether it be Spain, whether it be France. Go back over there with a very healthy and wealthy bank account and see out the rest of your retirement doing whatever you want to do. For Ronaldo to say it's about him baffled me. He also took a swipe at Messi. He also said that the Saudi League is better than the MLS. It's like, who cares? Was that a comment really necessary? Messi is the GOAT. Messi is better than you. And I don't want to sound like I'm a Messi fanboy or anything in that one, but it's like, as I said, when Messi joined Inter Miami, he can do whatever he wants because he is the GOAT and he's pretty much done everything there is to do in football. He can do whatever he wants. Like, I don't know if that comment was really necessary. And, we'll see if obviously there is this factor of maybe joining some of the best players in the world, because, well, if players are actually joining the Saudi League for Ronaldo and not the money, which I think is obviously going to be happening, which is more money-based than actually Ronaldo-based, then by that same logic, surely more players should be joining the MLS, right? Just saying. Where do we get up to? Can you do the Sue? Absolutely not. I refuse to do it. Cristiano Ronaldo should have went to Paris with Messi for a season. Yep, a FIFA player's wet dream, that one. A FIFA player's wet dream. Cristiano Ronaldo now has good players in and around him in Saudi Arabia. Don't get me wrong, the quality is definitely improving, and I get that. But to say that is because of Ronaldo, just no. Like, Ronaldo went to that league in a league that I've seen the clips of, and it looks to be a very amateurish league, and he still couldn't even manage to win his team, despite being top of the table and having a bit of a points gap, that league. So, that was quite embarrassing in itself, really. Have I been to United Arab Emirates? No. I'm not. Might be on a hit list of some kind, maybe sometimes. But we'll wait and see if I ever get the opportunity to go. I'll miss Fabinho. Fabinho transfer was iconic. Liverpool did this in a quiet day where no one saw this coming. Sky Sports had no clue. It was a wrapped up, very swift deal. I remember it very well. It obviously was a few days removed from the disappointment of losing to Real Madrid in the Champions League final in Kiev. Obviously, that was the final in which Ramos was a complete prick. And then a few days removed, we're looking at it like, okay, how do we go again for next season? And the first thing we do is we go and buy Fabinho in what must have been like negotiations and everything of a day. And then on that same day, that's it. We bought Fabinho, and rest is history. And it was a fantastic signing, and it was a signing that we needed. It was a signing that was important. It was a signing that was done very, very quickly, and I think that's the way that some signings and most signings should be done. But yeah, like I say, very intriguing signing all round. Messi is now part owner of Inter Miami. I heard. Do other Miami football soccer teams have any chance? Have any chance of any fans? I know there are one or two teams in Miami in the lower leagues of USA. Well, I think the USA football will continue to grow from this point. I think Messi is again a global superstar that arrives in that league, and I'm sure will help that league and that nation of football grow. So I think it will be very good for the league and very good for Inter Miami. Best two tweets I ever saw on Twitter were, my dad will buy me One Direction tickets if it's a Holland versus Netherlands final around about 2014 time. So damn it. And Emre Can said he can. Emre Can said he can. I want to know if he can. Can Emre Can do the can? It's a bit of a tongue twister, that one, isn't it? Will Brazil win the World Cup with Don Carlo? Can he raise his eyebrow? I mean, they've got a very good squad to do it. And now they may just have found the right manager to go and do it. We'll wait and see. I still think international football is very different to club football, so we'll wait and see, obviously, if that is to be the case. But Ancelotti has a wealth of experience behind him. We'll see what he obviously does with this Brazil squad, obviously, when he takes over next year. As soon as Real Madrid came calling, Carlo Ancelotti left Everton. Absolutely. And, who wouldn't? Obviously? Who would rather stay at Everton than go to Real Madrid? Absolutely crazy people, that's who. Carlo Ancelotti is first non-Brazilian manager for Brazil. I've often said this. I don't agree with having managers of a different nation manage a different national team. I think it should be the same nationality. I believe England should be managed by an Englishman. I believe Brazil should be managed by a Brazilian. I believe Portugal should be managed by a Portuguese person. That's just my thought, because it's obviously national teams and it's obviously international level, and you're obviously going on that international sort of thing. I know that the wealth of or pool of English managers isn't exactly too deep or realistic right now, but at the same time, that is what international football is. Don't get me wrong, I'm not completely bothered by it, but at the same time, I still think if you are to purely base it on an international level, that's what it should be. So we'll see. England experiment with Fabio Capello didn't work. Yeah, that was a complete disaster. The least said about that, the better. I mean, I don't think he was worse than Steve McLaren, but then again, that would have been impressive if he was. Yeah, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, just finished talking about Ronaldo. Aubameyang. We'll round this off with Aubameyang. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang could be on his way from Chelsea to Marseille this summer. Allegedly, he has agreed to a 3-year deal with the French club, and apparently now it's all about the two clubs agreeing a fee. He's moving a step closer to moving away. We've obviously talked about Aubameyang before. We talked about him being maybe the latest player to be linked with a move to Saudi Arabia, if that does happen. But it now seems that talk has died down on that one, and that he will be going to Marseille. Take care, Ballum. Take care, dude. Hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'd love to see you again soon, my bro, in another video. Take care, my dude. Thank you for coming along and contributing. All very much appreciated there, my bro. Thank you very much. So, yeah, Chelsea seems to be getting another deadwood player off their books. Very good move by them. For Aubameyang, it's another move for him. It's another place to go and play his football to see out the rest of his career, whatever it may be. Yeah, just very smart on Chelsea's part to get rid of him. Easily done and smartly done by them. So seems to be working out for Chelsea in terms of outgoings. I am curious though. Incomings for Chelsea seem to be going a bit slow. Moises Caicedo seems to be dragging its heels a little bit. And beyond that, there seems to be only talk about like kids coming through. Is this a bit of a concern by Chelsea that they won't have the age or experience level to really go on and maybe take advantage of the fact that you've only got the Premier League and the FA Cup and the League Cup to really worry about this season? Is that a concern for Chelsea fans? Is it a concern that you're not making as big waves right now as what you may intend to do? Or is this sort of like, once you break the seal, it's all going to start flooding through? Is this once Caicedo is through the door, that's when you're going to be going out and doing all these deals left, right, and centre? Because I still feel like there is a lot of work to be done at Chelsea. And I still feel like there is going to be a lot of activity with Chelsea this summer. I'm just intrigued to know why we think it's taking so long. So would love to know your thoughts and comments on Chelsea going forward, but it does seem that they are doing their business in terms of a summer clear out, with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang being the next name on that particular list. And that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it for today. Wrapping the video up now. These have, of course, been thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. This guy, I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the stories that I've talked about in this video? What do you make of any of the stories that you want to talk about for future videos? Any of your thoughts or comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section, I'm sure. So do get involved down there. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another all-new news video / live stream, whatever it may be. And I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video. Thanks, guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day.